What is up, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of The Danny Show. I'm your host, Dan Cody, giving you commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. Thank you guys so much for joining. As you can see, today, Tuesday, is going to be a very busy Tuesday for me because I have today and tonight. So this is just going to be a really fun day for me. However, the reason I am here extra earlier right now wearing green is because today is the day of the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus. And this is the only thing green I could find in honor of him. Today is his birthday. And as a custom, one of the customs on this channel is I like to give top 10 reviews for certain wrestlers' birthday when I have all the knowledge. And today I have the knowledge to give you the best review of Sheamus, who I really wish would win the Intercontinental Championship before retiring. So let's get down to that. We will start at number 10. At number 10, we have Sheamus opening up SummerSlam 2015, at Brooklyn, New York versus Randy Orton, the Viper. And this was an opening match where both men brought out their best moves. But in the end, it was Sheamus who would win this match, a very competitive match, might I tell you, and win a grudge match, rather. It was more so of a grudge match. This wasn't the first time they faced off at SummerSlam, as they did 5 years earlier in 2010. And fun fact, WWE is in Atlanta tonight still for NXT. Fun fact, Randy Orton and Sheamus fought for the WWE Championship in Atlanta at the Royal Rumble 2010. Fun facts tonight. Next, at number 9, we go back a couple of months backwards, where WWE opened up Money in the Bank 2015. Sheamus was a part of the opening show. Sheamus opened in a couple of shows in 2015. He would open up the show with himself, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, Neville, now known as the Mustard Pack. I try not to swear a lot on the channel, so we're going to say the Mustard Pack, formerly known as Neville. Of course, we had Kofi Kingston amongst others. And Corporate Kane. I can't believe I'm saying that. Not that Kane that I liked, the corporate butt kisser one. Ironically, now he's the mayor. But in this match, Roman Reigns, now Tribal Chief, the original Tribal Chief, OTC, was about to win this match before Bray Wyatt, God rest his soul, interfered. This would give an opportunity for Sheamus to come in and win the briefcase. And later on, in my former home of Atlanta, Sheamus cashed in. So a lot of memories in Atlanta for Sheamus. Oh, the irony. Oh, the irony. Moving forward, at number 8, we have Sheamus versus an Invisible Champion in 2009's TLC. This would be the night where Sheamus would win his first of a few WWE championships. And this was the night where he did what few people would do, which was win the championship in their first year. The only other two people to do it were Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle. Next, at number 7, this was back when Sheamus was World Heavyweight Champion at Extreme Rules 2012 when he defeated Bryan Danielson at Extreme Rules. A rematch from WrestleMania 28 where a bad luck kiss got a brogue kick and a quick victory for Sheamus, who had won the Royal Rumble. Now, in this particular match, it was 2 out of 3 falls. And, of course, I would like to point out that Michael Cole was actually a supporter of Daniel Bryan. Ironically, he hated Daniel Bryan in the beginning. But moving forward, this was a match for the championship. This also saw a very fun segment. First off, both guys were actually crowd favorites, though Bryan was heel. And there was a second where after Bryan had won a fall, after Sheamus was out, Bryan Danielson stood and led the yes chant. But what was so hilarious was that fans were chanting yes, but then a couple of people pulled in a no afterwards. And it almost seemed like Bryan Danielson was almost the favorite that night until that happened. Yes, no, yes, no, yes. That was one of my favorite parts of the match. That was very entertaining to me. But nonetheless, eventually Sheamus came back and scored 2 falls to win the match and retain the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Next at number 6, we have a literal clash, pun intended, at Clash of Champions 2016. Sheamus versus Cesaro. Now, let me just say, one of the things I noticed, one of the highlights of that match that I noticed is that when Cesaro went for a running senton through the top rope on a Sheamus, he had a bad landing, and it is a miracle that he was able to continue the match. Speaking of people who were able to continue, I didn't say this last night, so let me just get this out that my thoughts are with J.D. McDonough, because that was a very, very nasty fall, and I didn't point it out, and I meant to, but I try not to be too long before you guys. But I noticed that J.D. McDonough had a very nasty landing onto the announce table where he hit his head in an ugly angle. And they said he'll be out for a couple of months due to injury, which I'm not surprised by because that looked ugly. Thankfully, he was able to continue the match, but the War Raiders won, retaining the Raw Tag Team Championships. Nonetheless, in this match, they continued to fight, but the fight was great. However, this is one of the great fights without a conclusion because it ended in a double countout, and the fans wanted the match to continue. If this was WCW or ECW, we would be chanting 5 more minutes. Or AEW. They don't do that in WWE. They don't have a 5-minute chant in WWE, to my memory. Going forward, we have at number 5, speaking of the number, we have Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre at WWE Fastlane 2021. Sheamus is one tough dude to go through exploding pyro after being pushed through the screen by Drew McIntyre and continue the match. And not only did he continue the match, but he put Braveheart face-painted Drew McIntyre through the announce table. However, even though he came back from that to pull out some great moves against Drew McIntyre, being the Braveheart that he was at the time before he became a crybaby like he is now, won the match. So unfortunately for Sheamus, he didn't win. But let's give credit to Drew McIntyre because this was back when he was Braveheart instead of Caillou McIntyre. For those of you who grew up on PBS Kids, you'll get the reference. Next on this list at number 4, we have Sheamus versus Edge. But at his last match on Friday Night SmackDown, this took place on August the 18th of 2023. In Edge's hometown of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, in front of his wife and daughters, Edge put on a great match. Sheamus would put him over. However, they had an incredible match, especially on Sheamus's part. Sheamus was a great performer that night. However, the match belonged to Edge. Now, the next 2 matches were very 5-star rating. And had Sheamus won these matches, it would have been number 1. And the first one we're going to start with is Sheamus versus Gunther at Clash at Champions. This would be the match that would push Sheamus to go back into babyface mode because both guys were heel, and I expected that both guys would be cheered since they were in Europe, the continent of Europe. Both Sheamus being from Ireland and Gunther being from Austria. However, in this match, the support was mostly for Sheamus. and the match in itself was terrific. I have to give Sheamus and Gunther credit because both of them made the Intercontinental Championship a high quality subject. Not just the WWE Championship, but the Intercontinental Championship. They made that match main event quality. And speaking of main event quality, let's go to WrestleMania 39 Sunday. At number 2, we have Sheamus versus Gunther versus Drew McIntyre. A triple threat match in Hollywood. No, never mind, I'm not going to say that. But nevertheless, a great triple threat match. And all I can say about this match is what Titus said on commentary. Call the police because these 3 men stole the show. Another chapter in the Red Chest Diaries in Hollywood for Gunther, who would win an extraordinary triple threat match. But the fact that Sheamus had a lot of highlights and he was part of this makes it extra special on Sheamus's part. Now let's go to number 1. At number 1, we have Sheamus versus Matt Riddle for the United States Championship at WrestleMania 37 Sunday. And this, I will just say this. The highlight of this match was the ending. As Matt Riddle was going for the springboard moonsault, Sheamus would counter with a brogue kick, which was his finisher, and win the Intercontinental, I wish he would win that title eventually before retirement, but he would win the U.S. Championship with the highlight of that match, the brogue kick countering the moonsault. That's all the list I have for you today. Let me know in the comments what was your favorite Sheamus match. Let's hope that Sheamus wins the Intercontinental Championship before retirement. That's on my wrestling fan bucket list. Let me know if you agree. Like and subscribe. I'll see you next time and tonight for NXT. Lord willing. Have a great day, everyone.